Hello, I'm Joe Screbbles. This week on CVG Off the Record, we discuss the ongoing Flappy Bird saga. We discover that Rob has played literally every game, Evolve, Titanfall, Infamous, Tempest, and we put the question to you, what game would you get rid of from history? And we discuss our own. Also, we find out whether Gav's mum is dead. Have fun. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and review us on iTunes.
Hello and welcome to the CVG Off the Record podcast. My name is Tamor Hussain and I am joined in the studio by Joe Sports Friend Scribbles.
Hello.
Do you like that middle name?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's not my project. It feels like taking credit for someone else's work.
But you've shown me Barry Ball.
Barry Ball.
We'll discuss that later.
Okay.
We've got Gav.
Hello.
Beard face Murphy.
I've sort of shaved a little tiny bit, not loads.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It looks good. It's got a point at the end now and a bit of a quick flick.
I reckon
thing.
I can start doing like a moustache thing.
Yeah, you could.
Look
gonna
like
say
an
you're going-
absolute prick.
You're going from sort of Sparta to 1920s dandy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Rob, I
Hello.
played all the game Crossleys.
Hello.
You played all the games. But we're going to get
Yeah.
to that later on.
This is the first
Specifically
podcast
two.
we've been on together.
I think it is, yeah. Usually,
So many introductions.
Get a
going on.
room.
It's going to be quite
Get
a
a
ride.
room.
into a moment.
We're going to kick off with the news, and we're going to start with the hot topic on everyone's lips and thumbs, Flappy Bird.
I've been kissing my phone all day. It's nuts.
Flappy Bird. So, did anyone play Flappy Bird?
Nope.
Do you know what Flappy Bird is?
I know. obviously
People are
know
just
what
looking
it
at me
is,
like,
yeah.
What's this?
Flappy Bird?
It was like I saw everyone talking about it. Then I saw everyone talking about it because the guy was on Twitter having a mini meltdown because people were being horrible to him.
Yep.
And then I saw that it was gone, and then I saw everyone talking about it again. So I missed. I don't really play games on my phone, so I sort of missed it. It sort of passed me by.
There's a point in between that stuff when it got popular.
When
Okay.
people were
And
just
he
playing
went-
a game.
Where people were
Those
playing
were the
a
days.
game.
That's when we used to play games.
It's weird, isn't it, when
Nothing
you don't
happened, it
just
was
talk
nice.
about it incessantly.
Yeah.
So people were playing the game and then tweeting at the guy who made the game, and he was being super nice. Like he was like, "Hey," they were like, "Oh, I hate you. This game is ruining my life." And he was like, "Hey, give the game a break. Don't forget, this." He was being really nice
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
and he's like talking to people, and then you can just very slowly chart his meltdown.
Yeah.
Where it seemed like he was.
So what were people tweeting at him saying this game is bullshit?
Well,
or-
firstly, if you don't know, probably everyone's seen Flappy Bird. You just
Yeah.
tap the screen to make the bird,
Fly
break its
through.
arc to kind of like
Yeah.
get through these pipes. So, firstly, it was a mixture of like, this game is awesome and addictive. I've saw those kind of like
Okay,
videos and tweets, and then there's this game is the hardest thing ever. Then then it starts getting a bit, like this game is fucking shit and you deserve to die. And then it's like you copied Nintendo, you scumbag.
Oh, because the pipes look like
Yeah.
Nintendo pipes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he got a lot of shit for that. I think he was getting a mixture of that throughout.
Yeah.
But he chose to deal with it in a really like, shrug it off, just carry on. His tweets were like,
Yeah.
every tweet you saw, even though he was being nice, you could imagine the tweet that was sent to him was like,
Well, I guess he
hope
wasn't
you're
ready
dead.
for it. I suppose it's just one dude, right? Made
Yeah.
the game.
So here's the
Like-
thing. After the endless think pieces about this game, the one thing that's not clear to me is why it's suddenly become popular. Because it came out like over a year ago, right?
There was some controversy about that as well. So some people say that he used bots and scripts to artificially
really?
push it up the app chart.
And he didn't deny that either.
Well, he
so
said,
presumably he
yeah.
did.
Well, he didn't. Well, people like I've seen articles that say he's definitely done this. Here's the proof. And there's
Okay.
articles that say he's definitely not done this. Here's the proof. And what he said was, if I had done this, wouldn't have Apple have caught me and taken it down?
Yeah, of course. I saw a thing today which charted the success of it, and someone said PewDiePie
it's PewDiePie, isn't it?
put up a video on January 27th, and you can see from January 27th it goes whoop, and
Wow.
that's when this sort of boom
It's the power
started.
of Pewdie.
But barely anyone has mentioned that.
Shall we all go and work for PewDiePie?
Yeah.
It sounds like he's pretty influential.
Like, because that's an interesting thing in itself. Like,
Yeah.
some guy can just go, okay, this game came out over a year ago. PewDiePie finds it. It's this giant YouTuber who pretty much owns YouTube almost. Who's like more popular than Miley Cyrus and Katy Perry and stuff like that over worldwide. And then he mentions something and then he goes mad.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty scary. Like,
I think
the
also-
power that he has.
Yeah, absolutely. Flappy Bird lends itself well to Facebook because it's quite funny to watch because
Yeah.
you're basically failing the entire time.
Yeah.
So I mean, also I think Boogie 2988 also did.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's done a bit. Everyone's
Microsoft shill. 2988.
I mean, it's kind of
That
it's
video
not.
with him and Major Nelson is fucking disgusting.
He's all right. He's just talking.
Shut
to
your
him.
mouth, Rob.
What is
how things go when
what is wrong with the video with Boogie and Major Nelson?
Other than the fact that you can barely see them sucking each other off in it, like
underneath, beyond, just below the cut.
It
there's,
looks-
Like, hands
I
moving.
must confess.
it felt dirty watching it. Didn't you feel dirty?
Yeah, a little
watching
bit.
that
Yeah.
video?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I must confess, when he did say things like, "I'm not going to bullshit you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the serious, hard questions." So
Yeah.
why is the Xbox One so good? It was like,
Yeah,
halfway there, Boogie.
It's proper Frost Nixon style. How is this so great?
But I'm not going to bullshit you.
We discussed this past a while back.
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
But let's go back. Let's go back to
So
Flappy
yeah,
Bird anyway.
yeah. There was basically over the weekend. He said it appeared and it took over everything. From
We should point out, Kotaku said this game is plagiarism. They ran an article, a really popular article that said, "Here's the Super Mario World pipes, and here's the."
yeah, they have since
Flappy Bird.
apologized for the article.
Oh, have they really?
Yeah, they've issued an apology saying we shouldn't have said that. Maybe that's in. I wonder if they would have done that if Nintendo hadn't. But we'll get to.
But the
that
thing
later.
is, like, saying it's plagiarism just because they've, taken the style of the pipes, like the people recognize. Like, at what point is it plagiarism, or what point is it an homage to it? Like,
yeah,
exactly.
I think if you
people
read
aren't buying it because they're like, oh, those pipes are awesome.
All right,
They look
Shia
like-
LaBeouf.
they-
He jacked the pipes.
But people are not
He's gonna put
buying
a bag
that.
over his head soon.
People are not buying that game because they go, oh man, those pipes look exactly like Mario's pipes. Like,
Yeah.
no one's buying it because of that. People are
Yeah.
buying it because of the game. The pipes could be anything. Do you know what I mean?
Very-
It's
yeah,
just
no,
part
no
of
one's
it.
buying it thinking this is going to be an amazing Mario game.
It's
Exactly,
funny
yeah.
if you read Kotaku's apology about it. They actually dig into his Twitter account and go pretty far back, and they find that it's kind of heartbreaking to see the treatment he got when you look back, because he was a guy who clearly just really loved classic games. Because there was like a tweet that was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about trying to take Space Invaders or something like that and put an interesting twist on it." So all he wanted to do was take these classic
Underneath
games.
is a tweet going, fuck you.
But this was
Thieving
years. This was like
bastard.
really far back before Flappy Bird was even a massive thing.
Okay.
And so he was just like a genuine innocent fan that just wanted to like take these traditional games and
I have to say, from
twist them
reading
a
his
bit.
tweets, he doesn't strike me as a mental. It doesn't strike me as a nasty
No.
There's
guy.
a
at
really
all.
nice thing. As of the time of recording, Forbes put up the first interview with this guy
Okay.
that anyone seems to have had for a while, since he took it down at least.
Yeah.
And there was a line in it that just made me go, oh, actually, I feel quite sorry for him, because there's this weird bit of colour where it's like, throughout our interview, he smokes cigarettes and draws monkey faces on a piece of paper. You're like, oh, dude draws monkey faces. I'm with this guy.
Do you know what I found? It was crazy how quickly it took over literally everything.
Yeah.
I think
Like
it's
it was
because-
on YouTube.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, like, you get videos are like compilation of Vines, and then on
Yeah.
Facebook you'll find like Vines. Here's Vines, Twitter updates, and they compile every social network that I went to was Flappy Bird, Pinterest,
Yeah.
like Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. It was just all over the place. But then on the weekend he came out and said, "I'm sorry, This is his tweet. I'm sorry, Flappy Bird users. 22 hours from now, I will take Flappy Bird down. I cannot take this anymore." And then
But taking it down is not going to stop it. Like, there's a part of me that does think this is all bollocks.
the thing is, like, the bollocks. I think Rob was saying yesterday, he continues to earn the revenue.
Yeah, so the game is free,
Yeah.
completely free. He only makes money from ad revenue.
That's right,
So
yeah.
he has an installed base of, like, say on Saturday before he announced that he was going to take it down, he must
Yeah.
have had an installed base of quite a few million.
Yeah.
And the number must have gone up quite significantly after that announcement, because it was #1 worldwide trending on
yeah.
Twitter.
So he's making that money forever now.
Yeah, because
Oh,
it's-
right. So, sorry.
So
I
those
thought
ads
it
are
kills
still-
the ad
No,
no,
campaign
the
once it
ads
goes
are
down.
still being served.
That's really
in the game.
interesting.
So
And although it's not available on the App Store, I'm pretty sure you can download the file. People have backed up that file, the game file, and
Right.
you can move it over through iTunes
that-
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
See, all he's done is he's taken his first 100K, bought like a load of iPhones, installed Flappy Bird on them, stuck them on eBay. Now, it's a new revenue stream.
Yeah, so people are buying.
yeah,
People are
people are
buying that.
doing
It's
it.
crazy.
It's
That's
mad.
insane.
Yeah,
That is
really
mad. But yeah, so that vanished, and then following that, there was a lot of talk about why it vanished.
Okay.
And some people have speculated. There was an interesting post about. It wasn't even like an article or a like think piece or anything. It was just someone said
Someone
maybe it's,
shouting in the street.
no, it was just a comment, and I was like, that's an interesting perspective. It was like maybe it's because he's from the Philippines and they're culturally they're not
Isn't he Vietnamese?
or Vietnamese or sorry they're not. That's not racist.
Filthy racist.
I've got a friend who's from the Philippines.
But not Vietnam.
Maybe, yeah, but not Vietnam. But he was saying like maybe they're not, able to deal with this amount of success. And, they live in a different quality of life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that.
And at least we're getting to the more important question now, because I think the main thing, the biggest lesson to learn from Flappy Bird is that people kind of forget there's human beings behind these games. And the way they're treated by people on Twitter and
Also,
and
like, I mean,
on
we've
Facebook.
seen this happen before, but with stuff like Call of Duty, like, Von der Hart getting people
Yeah.
tweeting at him saying they're gonna like rape his kids and horrible shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
So
someone
we're
I've-
sort of used to stuff like that, but like for it to happen to like an app developer, it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
guy in his bedroom.
Plus,
just
Von der
made-
Haar is Von der
this
Haar.
little-
Like not to take away from the impact of
No.
that happening. That's a thing that should never happen.
No.
But obviously, he's better positioned to deal with that. Of
course,
stuff.
yeah.
This is one guy
Exactly,
who's
yeah.
dealing with foreigners. He's
Yeah.
dealing with
Yeah.
so many cultures.
You must
being
feel pretty isolated.
Yeah. So
The
one of
news
the,
story here is human beings continue to be assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
Like,
so one of the
yeah.
other discussions was that Nintendo probably got involved and
That was the assumption.
Yeah, that
because,
was the
Because,
assumption.
suddenly, some fucking pipes in a game and Nintendo
Yeah.
like, right, we've got to sue them because, it's clearly it's so crucial to
yeah.
the gameplay.
And just to be clear, like someone did conduct an investigation and look at the pixels, and he did not just straight up lift it.
No,
Those were
of course he
redrawn.
didn't.
and-
Just imagine that he did, right? It's not that important anyway. It's not plagiarism of a gameplay. It's not plagiarism of gameplay, is it? I mean,
No.
and the gameplay itself was
Yeah.
like around since the 80s, wasn't
Yeah,
it? I think the
that's
first game of that type was like the early 80s.
Yeah, because you get like stuff like Retro City Rampage and like
Yep.
Bit Trip. I guess like Bit Trip has got like Meat Boy in it, and they seem to be all quite close, and different characters appear in different games. Probably though, they're all kind of mates and have probably spoken about it
Signed off.
together and stuff like that. I guess. Which
So
it's not the same thing at
Nintendo,
all.
Nintendo told the Wall Street Journal, while we do not comment on this rumors and speculation, we have already denied the speculation last week. So that's in reference to people saying,
Okay, cool.
"Oh, maybe Nintendo got involved." So
Right,
they are
yeah.
basically saying we are cool with this.
Yeah.
Like we got no objections to Flappy Bird. So
Mm.
if you're one of those people that are still out there saying it's a plagiarism or stop, leave Dong alone.
Yeah. Leave Dong alone.
Leave him alone.
All right,
But
cool.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So
I think we've just solved Flappy Bird.
Yep.
yeah. done.
forget about it. Done. Next story is related to Batman Arkham Origins, which Warner Brothers Montreal recently said, although it's busted, like it's quite glitchy and will break and corrupt your save, they're not going to patch it because they're working on DLC. So essentially saying we're not going to
Classic.
fix your
Charming.
broken game, but we're going to give you more content to play with it.
So who's played it? Has anyone?
I have
Yeah,
played
yeah.
it to completion. Yeah.
Is it shit? Is it buggy? Is it?
No, I mean,
This is the
I
thing.
played the Wii U version. In fairness,
I played the Xbox 360 version, and
Yeah.
I didn't encounter a single bug the
Yeah.
entire time. But I know
Oh right.
that the actual bugs are widespread. If you go
Yeah.
to their forums, it's just mad. It's just like utterly broken. And I do know, like listening to other people's podcasts, there's quite a few American press and British press that have said their saves have been corrupted, so they need to start all over
I mean,
again.
what are they saying? Are they saying that they're going to release a patch with the DLC? And
No,
you're
they're
gonna have
not.
No, they're not going to.
patching
They're gonna patch it
They're not going to
No.
fix it.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought they were saying they're not going to release a patch by itself, but if you buy this DLC, it's got the patch with it, because that's scum. But they're not doing
It'd
that.
be great
They're
if they
not
just
doing it at
came
all.
out and went, it's probably the Joker.
It's one of the Riddlers, isn't it? It's one of the Riddler's things.
Riddle me this. Fuck you.
Read me this. Where's your save file?
That is a great idea, genuinely.
So the WB Games website says there are no plans to release another patch, And the statement is, the team is currently working hard on the upcoming story DLC, and there currently are no plans for releasing another patch to address the issues that have been reported on the forums.
See, that's just a mad thing. Like, why make that statement at all?
Yeah.
Wasn't
why
it, wasn't
not
it on a
just
forum
go-
though? Wasn't it one fella on a forum, like community support fella?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, I said they're not patching it.
So we should
Oh, so the
clarify.
dude's just
Okay,
lost his job.
right.
That's all it is.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Why
but
is he
like, fair play
bothered?
to him for being straight up. Like, yeah, we're just not gonna work on it, mate. We're not gonna fix it. Sorry.
I don't think a forum moderator should be given that power, should he?
It was a community manager.
Community manager.
Yeah.
Community managers have no power over whether or not a patch is getting done. Get back on Twitter and Facebook, mate. Like, do some retweet competitions. You have no business
Do
commenting on
some
it.
retweet competitions. That was the meaning.
He
Back to
added,
Twitter.
if we do move forward with creating a new patch, it will try to address the progression blocking bugs for players, not the minor glitches that do not prevent one from continuing to play.
Wow.
The
So that
issues
he's
are-
also pointed out there are game-breaking bugs
Yeah.
as well.
We apologize for any inconvenience this has caused.
I don't think
Um,
this dude should be
and,
given any power or
Yeah.
a job anymore, to be honest.
Somewhere Rocksteady's just, well, they're either laughing or weeping because
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
has taken a big old dump on their brilliant series.
Yeah.
It's kind
yeah,
of
it's
weird.
true. But yeah, that's been a big talking point.
I mean, it's just
it is madness.
It's galactically
But at the same time,
stupid.
I think, we need to dial it down a bit, dial it back a bit and go, this is a community manager commenting
Yeah.
on a forum, not WB Games whatsoever.
Yeah,
like,
Do you think they're going to come out with a patch?
I think they should have put very quick. It's
think they
slightly
might now.
worrying that they didn't come out and go, whoa, 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 whoa. No, we are working on a
because they're
patch.
probably investigating why this guy's allowed to keep running his mouth on a fucking forum, probably. They're probably busy killing him.
Yeah.
We apologise for the inconvenience. Currently, all our developers are just wailing on this dude in the corner.
We'll have an Instagram picture of him up after. He's going to upload it himself. But yeah,
Is that forum post still there, by the way? The one that the community manager made?
I haven't checked since, but it's been a couple of days now, so it's kind of like
Can
I
we
said.
check, see if it's still on there?
It's slightly worrying that
Live.
live. In the meantime, we'll move on to the next big story, which is Dungeon Keeper iOS has been released.
So it's actually a trio of bad news this week.
Yeah,
then.
this is
Yeah.
pretty much
Great.
bad news. Yeah.
But you've seen some good stuff that's coming up. So.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Yeah. So has anyone played Dungeon Keeper?
The original.
What, the
yeah.
original?
I mean, either.
I've played the originals
Yeah,
a
you
lot.
played the original, so you know how it works. Like
Yeah.
you dig the dungeons. Imagine if,
That's it. Yeah, you've got it.
yeah. Imagine if.
Trivializing an entire series and
See,
genre of
this
games.
is why you're different to Peter Molyneux. He'd say you're creating a kind of world of goodness and badness.
I'll
And you're
give you
going, no,
straight-
you just dig a
I'll just
dungeon,
dig
mate.
the dungeons.
Get on
right?
with it. Use a shovel.
Get on with it. Imagine if every square block you had to dig
Yeah.
came with a lengthy time limit, like time
That you had to
period
pay to
block
get past.
that you
Yeah.
had to pay to get past.
That's mad.
And then after you have dug that block, another block is there for you. So every time you dig, there's at least a number of hours before you can progress.
Hours?
Yeah,
Hours.
It can be like
in some
20
cases,
hours
in some
Per
case,
block?
per
in
block.
some cases, week.
What? I
Like,
didn't hear it was that long.
upgrading buildings can be significantly longer.
That's fucking
But yeah,
insane.
like the idea that the basic mechanic of that game
Yeah.
has been locked behind a paywall is
It'd be like
madness.
Imagine Mirror's Edge, but you had to pay to take a step.
Yeah.
And a jump takes a week. Mirror's Edge in slow motion.
The new Call of Duty, every bullet is monetized.
It's like in The Simpsons, Kevin Costner's Waterworld arcade machine that Millhouse is playing. He's like, please deposit 50 quarters. He takes like one step. Game over. Please deposit 50 quarters.
Yes, it's exactly that. That's probably where Mythic Entertainment got their idea
Yeah.
for the game.
Well, this is the thing. I hear people talking about how free to play is just arcade, monetization coming back again. This is worse than any arcade game
Yeah.
has
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
been. Like that. This is so far beyond the pale now.
Yeah, in the last, so the game's been around, for 40 years? About
Yeah.
40 years. And in that entire 4 decades, there hasn't been a single game that's gone, can you just wait for 5 minutes and come back a bit later so you can carry on playing the game? That's never, ever
Well,
happened.
I don't have a problem with something that I don't have a problem with, say, like Farmville, right?
Or
So it
Triple
limits-
Town, something like that.
It lets you play for a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
It
goes,
doesn't
"Wait a
stop
while."
you.
It's
Yeah,
li-
yeah.
It doesn't
yeah.
stop you. Yeah.
Well,
Have you played Angry Birds Go?
No.
No.
It's a fucking piece of shit. It's the most. It's a disgraceful game. I honestly think children shouldn't be allowed to play it.
Why?
It's-
What
it's-
was it?
Is this the racing game?
Yeah, it's a racing game. So
Okay.
they got 3 tracks that they sort of stretch out into different challenges. You have to race down them in different ways, again and again and again and again.
Okay.
But every 5 races you have, your bird runs out of energy, and you have to wait 20 minutes to play the game again, or you can pay some money to carry on playing.
Imagine if
But
every
is
five.
it free?
So it's free to play at first. Yeah.
So
Right,
I don't
yeah.
mind. I don't mind that so much because you're getting to play the game. Dungeon Keeper's fundamentally
Yeah.
locking the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Somehow there is a game worse than that, and apparently
Yeah.
it's Dungeon Keeper.
It's
Like
mad.
it is
So
the
let me
equivalent
challenge-
of
channel
If you pay a certain amount, are you allowed to have the entire unlocked game?
no.
Dungeon
So if you
Keeper?
pay $99 for a big stack of cash, that will eventually be depleted. $99.
That's fucking.
You can't buy the
insane.
game.
right. You still can't finish the fucking thing.
That's insane.
that is.
Then, in fairness,
is-
if you're stupid enough to do that, then
Well,
you
yeah,
just
and it-
deserve
Yeah,
and
but you
people
know,
coming
some
to you.
people aren't stupid, but some people accidentally do it.
Oh, okay. Well, they
mean,
also stupid and deserve.
That's
to-
still mad.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go.
and it's
How'd you accidentally do that?
I think it's difficult for now. It's harder now, but you get the stories. It still happens. Like my kid accidentally spent.
Yeah, that's
6,000
because
pounds in
that's because
Smurfberries.
the parents are fucking stupid though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well, no,
I
I
know
mean,
people.
I mean,
I know
it's-
people with kids and they play games every single day. That's never happened to them because their parents aren't fucking morons.
I think there's a loophole, and game developers are exploiting it. So as soon as you press, so for example, if your mum said to you, "Hey Gav,
Yeah.
you can have 50
My mum's
sweets."
been dead for 10 years, so I'd be pretty shocked by that.
So if this is
She's already
dead.
dead.
Fucking hell, Jesus!
His face! Oh my god, his face was like, oh, his world
You
just
can't
came
fucking do that, man.
crashing down.
I've never seen the colour drain from someone's face.
I felt
Holy
like total shit.
The best thing was Rob trying to carry on.
Yeah,
Like,
did you see?
It's cool. It's cool. Like, just freaking out.
You could see his gears just going into overdrive, trying to come up with a replacement family member. Just like,
Well,
any of them could be dead.
that's what I went through. So don't mention his fucking dad. So
They both died in a car crash.
if your mum gave you like, I don't know, 50 sweets for £3.
Okay.
If you buy it on like an iPad,
Yeah.
the purchasing gets unlocked.
Right.
So you don't need a password for it.
okay.
For 15 minutes after a purchase, you don't need a password. So kids can buy 50p's worth of, I don't know, cash or something, and then straight after they can buy 99 quid's worth, and that is a loophole that these games take advantage of.
I think it's all right in this instance to say that it's both the developers and the parents' fault here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone's got a problem in this
Okay, yeah.
situation.
It's
Yeah,
interesting. Like I was reading stuff about it and watching videos. It seems to be the bigger AAA developers and publishers that are taking advantage of this so much. Like you get a lot of examples of free to play done right. I mean, some of them are good, like Hearthstone and Loadout, which is a first person shooter.
Yeah,
League
yeah,
of
yeah.
Legends shooter that just came out, and it's doing it. It's doing it really smartly. League of Legends, Dota 2 does it really
Yeah.
well. But I mean, you get some companies like. I mean, it's Rovio and Activision and EA that are really abusing it, which is kind of shameful because they are the same people that represent the industry at the higher top end of the business.
I mean, some people say free to play fundamentally sucks, and the more and more you see these sort of atrocities, then the more and more you're going to be convinced of that. But there are some free to play games that are really
Well,
good.
I think
Exactly,
the
yeah.
problem is it's all been put under an umbrella of free to play when actually the systems are so disparate.
That's
Completely,
absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like the idea of calling Dota free to play.
Yeah,
Dota is a game that you can play in its entirety forever for no money.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you can spend a bit. Like, obviously, that's brought about by the fact that Valve are a really successful company and can afford to do that in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
But the idea that that's the same as, like,
You're
Angry
absolutely right,
Birds
yeah.
Go is mad.
yeah.
That's a
Completely
very
agree.
good point, actually. Yeah.
Have you played New Star Soccer?
Yes.
That's the same thing, right? I mean,
It is now. It started off, you had to, after 10 matches, you had to pay 69p. So it was essentially a free, like, as it
Oh
were
my
to
God,
put it, it's
really?
a free to start game.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, right.
But that was fine because that's just a trial period. That works for me.
Yeah.
Things like I really like this one game called Mega Dead Pixel.
Yeah.
Completely free to play, but you can speed yourself up, and I feel like they deserve my money because I've
That's
not
right.
paid anything for it.
I think that's the perfect thing. Is like when you fall in love with a game,
Yeah.
you're like, fucking, I want to give this guy some money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how it should be.
I felt the same way about Triple Town. Like, I played it, and I didn't feel at any point that I was being exploited or anything. I thought, do you know what? I really like this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick some money in it.
Exactly.
Like,
Most gamers are people used to paying money for
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that with an influx of people who've never really played games before, they've
Yeah.
got this weird distorted idea of how you pay for games.
Yes.
And people are taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
Like people like EA are going, well, we'll release a game called Dungeon Keeper that no one's ever played before, and they don't know that this used to be a game you could just play, and we'll lock everything behind stuff. And it is one of the top grossing apps on the App Store. So
Yeah.
people are idiots. that's what it comes down to.
More interestingly, on Android, did they have a system?
That was your same conclusion for Flappy Bird as well. People are idiots.
Well, I'm a very nihilistic human being. I've got real
on
problems.
Android, it's somewhat worse because they actually prevent you from giving the game anything less than a 5-star rating.
Oh man,
What?
So
that
what it
was
does
that
is-
was what.
Seriously.
It tells you rate the game. You press 5, and it will reflect that on the App Store,
Yeah, so it auto-review
Android
it.
app
Okay.
Store rating. If you do anything below that, I think it's either
1 to
anything
4,
below
so-
1 to 4, and it will tell you need to directly email EA with the reason why you're giving it. So it will not let you
No,
do that.
so
How are they
if,
allowed to do that?
so if you press 1 to 4, it automatically opens up your email, and
Yeah.
it asks, and so you're sending an email to EA saying I didn't like it because it's like a feedback email.
But that's
If you
fine.
press
Service.
5, it automatically ticks 5.
And it comes up on the store
Yeah,
as a 5.
They are insane.
like
See,
how-
fair enough, like asking for feedback, and like, but it should be for every single one. Like,
Yeah.
you should be able, like, it should open up the email for every single one. Because I kind of like the idea of people, making it easy for people to put feedback in. That's fair enough. That's obviously not what they're doing, though, is it?
No, it's not. No,
An email's harder than a checklist. If
Yeah.
it was like a thing, and then at the bottom it said other, if you wanted to type
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
The
yeah.
idea that you have to go through going, dear sir or madam,
Yeah.
this is bullshit. Like,
This is bullshit. Yours sincerely, Joseph Scrubbles.
that's how I feel.
So Peter Molyneux, creator of the original 1997 strategy game Dungeon Keeper, has described this as ridiculous.
And let's bear in mind, this is a man that was trying to sell a £50,000 chisel, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. This
I
is
remember-
that guy. That very same guy. He said, I felt myself turning around and saying, what? This is ridiculous. I just want them to make a dungeon. I just want to make a dungeon. I don't want to schedule it on my alarm clock for 6 days to come back and for a block to be chipped. I don't think they got it right. The balance between keeping it familiar to the fans that were out there, but fresh enough for and understandable for the much bigger mobile audience. So he pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
But he didn't say, like, in as many words, they fucked with the transaction shit. He just said,
Transaction sheet.
Yeah, I love Molyneux to come out and say that.
he probably.
Homie's been fucking with my transaction sheet.
Yeah. So those are the big stories this week.
By the way, just a quick update: the forum post is still there, so I imagine they haven't figured out his password yet.
Because they chopped off his fingers, he can't type it in. And cut off his tongue.
So moving on from there, we're going to discuss briefly what we've been doing and playing over the last week. The big stuff is all going to come from
Crossley.
Rob. I've played it all Crossley.
Mm.
Is
who
there
has-
anything you haven't played
Yeah.
like, that exists right now?
No,
Let's rattle them off. Titanfall.
no. Yes, played that.
I played
Evolve?
Titanfall. I played
Played that.
Titanfall.
We don't care about you.
Shut up.
Infamous.
Yes, played that.
What else?
Evolve.
Hogging it all.
Said
TXK was really good.
Oh, yeah, that looks fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good. You'll
Wait,
really
what?
like it. Yeah.
What's that?
So
TXK,
TXK
the
is
Jeff Minter game.
Yeah, it's the new
Oh,
Tempest game. Yeah. For Vita.
Oh, fair enough.
looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
On your Vita?
Yeah.
Fuck this. Let's go.
Is it another, like, Xbox visualizer
Imagine
game?
Tempest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks
Yes.
mad.
Imagine Tempest, that game that he's only ever made.
That's that.
That again. That
That works
exact
for
thing
me.
again.
That's fine.
Yeah, it looks awesome, though.
Yeah. Jeff Minter's really clever with those things because it is essentially Tempest again.
Tamor doesn't think it's
I do not think he's really clever with
No,
those things.
no. But the reason why it's clever
really
is
clever
because,
for making that
it's
game
because
again.
he makes it work. You start playing and you're like, oh, this is just Tempest, and you go, oh, this is Tempest, and you know,
All right.
Slip into a warm bath with Crossley and Tempest.
Let me get one of those vibrating beds. Sit in it with Tempest.
I would love that. I'm not lying. I would actually love that.
What are you
Playing
doing, Rob?
Tempest in the vibrating.
This is Tempest.
Rob, do you wanna
Rob,
get
why have
some-
you called me?
Do you want to get some dinner? No, Tempest.
It's time for some more Tempest.
Is that a euphemism? I don't understand what's happening here.
But what else we play? Evolve is the big one.
Evolve is the big
I
one.
wanna know
I'll
about
so
that.
preview.
we've just got put a
Our preview
preview
just
up
went up.
on the site. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
So that's that. No.
Cool.
So
It's
Left 4
no
Dead,
Tempest,
obviously, you played Left 4 Dead before,
Yeah,
right, Gav?
yeah.
It's
Doesn't give a shit about us.
sorry.
He's actively looking away from us.
Sorry, no.
His body language.
Sorry, I was in the middle of a conversation. Sorry, what was that, mate?
A podcast is between all of us.
people on this podcast. So
We don't have a fucking red button where they can switch between our conversations.
Go on, evolve.
Well,
so Left 4 Dead, people.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so yes.
So, Gav, before we were interrupted,
by these nobodies.
I am trying my best.
Okay.
Right, so Left 4 Dead, obviously 4-player co-op against a horde of zombies. It's a slight change from that in that you're now playing against one giant boss controlled by another human.
Okay.
So it's it's a blend of cooperative play versus against someone else that you probably
Essentially
know.
Luigi's Ghost Match on Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Boom.
smash.
So
Finally, something I can understand.
it's really awesome, and when you're playing as the monster, especially, it's really interesting because you would feel like if you're a 20-foot monster who can breathe fire and who can destroy people with one giant smash of their fist,
Which
Yeah.
Gav is.
which Gav
This
technically
is tank.
The Mekong mode.
This is the Mekong mode from tank.
Yes,
So,
actually,
wait,
it's quite similar to that.
So is
actually,
it's a team against one other person.
a team against one other
Right.
person, right?
It's Predator.
But
Okay.
the key is in the name of the game. So the monster has to evolve.
Yes.
So by
Give
doing
him a rare candy.
Yep.
During
Pretty
the
much.
Again, I understand that.
So the monster goes through the level and he destroys, I don't know, elk or
Elk.
like some four-legged
Fearsome enemy
some
elk.
four-legged herbivore. I wasn't paying attention.
Canoe.
A canoe. So when you kill that, you can level up to level 2, and by that point, you're pretty much the same. You have the same strengths as the team combined, basically. So this is all about beautifully balanced gameplay. So when the monster actually starts, he's a bit shit. So at the start of every single round, the team of 4 are a little bit harder than the monster.
But
basically.
how big are these maps? Like, where are you in relation to them? Did it, because
They
Mekong
are-
mode, which is copied, you're right in the middle. You're right.
All
in
right.
the mix
Okay.
of
Well,
them,
that's
yeah.
different. So they're about 30 seconds away from you, and they're slightly faster than you as well.
Okay.
So
What
as
do you
the
play
mon-
as?
the mon-
Humans?
You can play as either humans or the monster.
No. But what do you like? You're humans, are you? Humans versus monster.
No,
Yeah. The
you're not
hunters,
cyborgs or anything
So
like
the
that.
hunters are humans,
Okay,
and the
cool.
monsters.
Whatever he is.
Monster.
Okay. Yeah.
So, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, so when you as the monster, when you start the level, you got about 30 seconds to find some elk or whatever to eat that shit, level up, and be just as powerful as the team. So at the start, it's a bit of a dash.
It's just like the way you take a character in Dota and you start the game. The first thing you do is kill the creeps that can't fight against you, and then get a bunch of hoard the experience, and then get a level up and get new abilities.
Okay, but
and then you just do that again.
But under time pressure, because the team of 4 are after you.
yeah,
But are the team of 4 up against sort of bots?
No.
Or is it literally 4-on-1 every time?
yeah.
It's
It seems insane.
It's a
you'd
bit of
have
both.
Huge periods where it's just quiet.
so here's the trick. Okay, so if the monster gets up to level 2, it's then an even fight. So it's Ryu versus Ken essentially. But if the monster has even more elk,
it's not an even fight.
come on. So
damn it.
if the monster has even more elk, he gets to level 3, and by that point, he's way more powerful than the hunters. So the hunters have to be as quick as they can, finding the monster as soon as they can, which kind of forces action straight away.
How long do these matches last? It doesn't seem like they would last very long.
They don't last very long. They're very intense, 15-minute fights.
Okay.
Have you played Natural Selection 2?
No.
Okay, so that is a game that came out a year or 2 ago, which is humans against aliens. Same amount of people on each team,
Right.
but they class up in different ways. So the humans start as different classes. The aliens start as small creatures that then evolve live
right, into
during the
things
game
that are more
into
powerful.
different classes.
Right.
Is the monster in this? Is it linear? Does he always evolve into the same things, or can he choose different abilities?
He always evolves into the same things.
Okay.
So
Right, okay.
just more powerful version of himself, really,
Right.
with a few additional perks here and there.
Sunglasses, backwards baseball
Shades,
cap.
yeah.
Sweet.
Does
it work?
But it does work, yeah. Because the thing is, they've built this now for 3 years, and when they were working on it, after 4 months building it, they started playing it.
Okay.
And so they've been playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it for God knows how long to ensure it's as beautifully balanced as possible. And I think playing as a hunter is just as fun because you have to find the monster. Now, finding a monster in a giant jungle is actually pretty hard. So what you have to do is look for signs. So like there'll be some birds startled like 100 meters away.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's not as organic as you think. It's not like
Oh right, you've just ruined it. I'm out.
yeah. No, it's still like you
Pulls
know,
us in, slaps us in the face.
Sorry about
I
that.
thought you were going to say I was doing like like Native American tracking and stuff.
Yeah,
And he's like,
I
"Nah,
wish you could do that. But it's a big flashy like birds have been startled over here sort of thing, which is fair enough.
But it's all next gen, right? So
all next gen.
assuming it looks beautiful.
It looks pretty good.
Okay.
It looks pretty good. It's not next gen games usually.
Crytek engine, right?
Yeah, CryEngine 3. Next gen games are supposed to look fantastic. This looks very good.
Okay.
It looks like a very high end 360 game.
Yeah. Okay.
So
But
Is
like,
that it? Sounds rubbish.
but
Infamous.
it sounds interesting, but it sounds like there's a lot of problems with it as well.
I don't think you didn't explain how actually the kind of the team dynamics, because I've read through the preview.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of team, like each character.
read through Rob's preview.
Each-
and you
each-
know more than Rob.
Yeah, each.
fucking hell, Gav.
No, I was taking a piss out of him. No, well, also you.
No, I'm saying I'm chipping in. I'm chipping in.
I'm
with
not being-
I'm
coming on this
chipping in as the
podcast, yeah.
reader. The stuff that I found interesting was the way that every like most class-based games, every character has a very specific role to play in that game. So defeating the monster is it's essential to use that properly. But even when you're without, you can sometimes there's like a balance. There's a certain point that you can get by even without one of the characters.
Right.
But at a certain point the scales tip and you need to kind of like switch to defense and back
that's
off.
right.
So if you lose the person that can revive you,
Yeah.
you can maybe hold him off long enough to. Your choices are: we can try and hold him off long enough for for the medic to come back, or we can try and split.
So they
and just-
respawn.
Okay.
It's not like a
You,
survival.
your
Yeah.
character respawns after a
Yeah.
little while, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so the goal of the monster is to kill all 4 within the space of 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
2
right.
minutes.
Yeah, when one person is down, they
You
will
got 2
respawn after 2 minutes.
Right.
But therein lies the beauty of it. So the 4 hunters, one's a medic, one is support, one is assault, and one's a trapper. And they're all different. But the beautiful thing is that they all have to work together. They genuinely do. The trapper has this harpoon which holds you in position. The medic has, for example, a tranquilizer dart that slows the monster down. The assault obviously has big gun and a shield. And the support has nukes and things like that, like really heavy weapons that he can deliver as well. But if the monster kills one of them, just one, then all of a sudden you have to re-strategize. You have to sort of make allowances for your lost comrade, or you can focus on reviving that comrade. And all of a sudden, as soon as one person is gone from the team of 4, then the monster has a significant advantage.
Okay.
So it's just like a pendulum swing back and forth to in terms of advantage, which side has the advantage.
But then doesn't it make sense for all 4 of you to not be together?
But then you can be picked off.
Yeah,
Because if it's level
because you
2,
need to
then
you need to
because,
rely on the
I
other
mean-
person. Like the medic
Of
needs
course,
to rely
yeah.
on the trapper to
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
If it was just the monster and any one of those hunters, the monster would fuck them up.
And at the same time, I mean, in the preview, it said that at one point they found that the players could just turtle up and set up mines around them.
Yeah.
But what they did was they combated that by giving the monster ability to like spit rock boulders from a distance
Sweet.
and set off the mines and attack them.
Okay.
But the other interesting thing was, unless I'm mistaken, you can open up custom weak points. So when you shoot the
Oh, that's
monster,
an amazing thing. Yeah.
the
So
place where you do damage becomes their weak
Yeah,
point. So if you all aim for that spot.
Oh, nice.
So medics usually in these sort of games, they're not very interesting, are they?
No, nobody wants to play medic.
But this one's quite cool because she's got a sniper rifle that opens up a hole in the monster where everyone else can pour their ammo into it. It's really cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I
gross.
think it
is
sounds quite interesting. Yeah. I think it sounds quite interesting. I love the Left 4 Dead game. I mean, I think it's the best co-op game in a long time. And this
Yeah.
sounds like it could be really, really fun. They've taken the kind of versus element from Left 4 Dead 2 and kind of built upon that. But yeah.
The only thing I'm worried about is how does a game flow into another game? Is it just this is the game, this is the end of the game, this is a
That's
new
right.
game?
Yeah, and they're reservations I have.
Because
as well.
with Left 4 Dead, like I remember just playing hours and hours and hours of that, just constantly, I don't know, it just felt like you were all part of the same. It was always the same sort of night.
Yeah.
I almost feel like the
story
Left 4
thing.
Dead thing is sort of a distraction. Like,
Yeah,
it sounds
massively,
it sounds
yeah.
like people hoping for something like that when actually
Yeah.
they're just bringing some of their experience to bear.
Exactly.
Yeah. The cool thing about Left 4 Dead was the way it kind of served up all these like multiplayer levels. It was like
Yeah.
framed like a movie and themed and that kind of thing. So I don't know if it's doing anything on based on. I mean, you mentioned that there's a single player, but they're not willing to talk about it yet.
Yeah. So obviously this
But
is
then
going to be a full
nobody
release.
plays this for single player though, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that I think therein lies the problem, because this sounds like a really awesome multiplayer mod
Yeah.
of another game, doesn't it? Like, but an awesome mod. But of course, because now it's being published and is now going on shelves
Why
and
don't you
stuff.
publish it for 20 quid? Like,
I think that's the way things are supposed to go, but they're not. They're putting it on shelves for 40 quid, so therefore you have to pad it out with I don't know,
Right.
achievements.
Well, I don't know that, or you
And
just
single
do
player.
what Titanfall does and go, we're multiplayer only. Deal
Yeah.
with it. Like, we've
Yeah.
got a really brilliant game with loads in it.
Yeah.
Just do that. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Mm.
But I mean, they should do that, but they've decided to pad it out instead.
yeah.
Madness.
I mean, they've got a good history of like supporting their games. They're known for making
Yeah.
mods and creating new maps and that kind of stuff. So it might be that you get a lot of content in the future, but for this one game. But I don't know.
hmm
That's their deal.
Overall, I'm impressed. I think it's gonna be an interesting game.
Mm.
That sounds cool. What about Infamous then? Because that's another big one you've seen.
Yeah, so I had a bit of a problem with Infamous because it was a bad demo,
Okay.
and I've seen all the videos.
We've discussed this at length yesterday,
Yeah.
and we've come to the conclusion that it was probably a bad demo.
Yeah, a bad demo.
Why
a
did you
good
come to
game.
that conclusion?
Because I think have you seen the video of Infamous Second Son?
No, I haven't. No.
The city in Infamous Second Son. Well, you can explain it to me. It just looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing is that I'm super excited about Infamous. I love the first one. Love the
You're a
second
massive
one.
Infamous
I'm a
fan.
big
Yeah,
Infamous fan. It's superhero. It's right up
Mm.
my alley. So when he was like when we were discussing it yesterday, he was quite down on it, and it was like the stuff that he was mentioning, that kind of caught his attention and kind of wasn't really sitting well with him was stuff that I had seen differently in previous like
Yeah.
previews and
Yeah.
discussions, developer interviews, and like trailers and stuff. So what
Yeah.
he was saying was directly conflicting with stuff that I've seen before.
Yeah.
It was weird.
okay.
It was like it doesn't make sense. This doesn't sound like the game that I've seen before. So either it was just a really bad weird demo, or they are selling a different product altogether.
Well, the thing is like you've got PS4, right? What do you expect from a next gen game? What makes a game next gen?
Well, currently it's going to be all the pretty effects and the physics and this crazy destructibility and cool graphics and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
A
Can you watch Netflix and play it?
right. But that's the point, though, right? I mean, at the moment, at face value, next gen is pretty graphics, right? I mean, in a few years' time, next gen will mean something else entirely, maybe connectivity or I don't know, Twitch or some shit,
Robots.
robots. But at the
Flappy
moment, it's graphics. And the demo I played, they turned the lights off. You were playing the city at night, so
Okay.
I couldn't really see the city. I couldn't appreciate the beauty of the city. I couldn't see much.
What do you mean they turn the lights off?
As
So
in
you were playing
in
at
the room.
night.
You're playing at night time.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, they
Not
knocked
that
me
they
out.
actually walk into the room. and were like,
They knocked me out and told me what was happening.
And then you just start going, Tempest.
It's time for more Tempest. It's quite pervy. Anyway, so they turn off the lights basically in the game. So you're playing at night, and all of a sudden, once you get rid of that beautiful city, what you're left with is a PS3 game.
Okay.
It's Infamous 2 again. It's the same sort of setup. I've spoken to Tomor about it at length because Tomor's played Infamous 2 quite a lot, right? And it's the same setup. So it's Infamous 2 in a beautiful city, essentially. There's nothing really more.
Okay.
And for some people, that will sound fantastic.
Yeah,
right?
depending on your
Yeah.
perspective. Like personally, I'm quite conflicted in what that means to me. I like the idea of having more Infamous, just more of the same. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed that from what it sounds like, they haven't made any more gameplay leaps or taken any
Yeah.
step
So wait,
forwards in.
But is that part of what conflicts with what you've heard?
Well, no, that part of it is kind of like roughly in line. But I always thought there's more to come. There's more to reveal.
Okay.
But like, because you know how they are, they reveal stuff in steps, and
Yeah.
and then later on down the line we'll have, we've got this amazing new ability here where you can do this and set up this kind of stuff. But it's like based on what Rob's played, it's just the same thing, except he's got a different melee weapon and his powers are kind of slightly different.
So if this is as dull as it sounds, is there any reason for me to buy a PS4 anytime soon?
The thing is, like,
When is it out? I'm just trying to think.
So in
now.
March
March.
21st.
See, that's worrying.
Yeah, that
They've
is
shown
worrying.
you
That is,
this.
and it's actually, I'm actually still in the process of writing it, but it's actually hard to strike a balance here because I think it's a bad demo.
Yeah,
but it might be a really good
how
game.
did you do it? Like, I saw a game that I can't talk about yet the other day, and the demo was shonky as hell.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I just wanted to stop him and just go, can you just restart it? Just try it again. Cause, like,
Did you do that, or did you?
Nah, shit out. But like, there's a lot of people in the room. But like, I was
Oi, mate!
I was watching him play this game, which I should have been super excited about. But all I could just like, it was just horrible. It was buggy as hell. It was really laggy, and this game does not lend itself well to that. Like, how do you even go about doing a preview of something where? But like, this wasn't buggy. You just weren't impressed with it. You just think they've chosen a really bad part of the game to showcase you.
Yeah, well, the reason why they're doing that is because this guy, what's his name? Tomorrow, Nate.
Deslin Rowe.
Deslin. That's why I went for Nate.
Close. Swing and a miss.
I have earned my wages today.
I think it's actually Delsin, which is even weirder.
Yeah.
It's got some
Anyway,
Native American.
Yeah, Nate.
origin.
That was it. Yeah.
yeah. So Nate.
To his friends, like Rob.
So Nate has electricity powers, but
Okay.
like in Tempest.
Yeah.
And he also has like smoke powers as well, right?
Okay.
And these look best at night. So this is some nice particle effects, some nice lighting. And I'm guessing the team went, hey, let's show off these beautiful particle effects and this beautiful lighting by setting the game at night. I didn't really like the particle effects, to be honest. Have you played Killzone Shadowfall?
Yes.
And it's like you're done with like
Yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
lighting by the end of it, aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
you know, just flashing a light in your eye, basically.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
got
so.
neon powers as well, which probably look quite
Neon
nice.
powers.
Yeah,
Like
basically
Batman Forever.
kind of exactly.
Well,
He
we are
can- he can-
destroying this game.
The thing is, what I was going to say is, this is the kind of game where, even if it on paper seems a bit mediocre, or dull the way you sound, for a certain person, it will just hit perfectly.
Yeah.
It'll press exactly the right buttons. I'm one of those people. Like, I remember at the time people were saying, "Yeah, Infamous is a bit dull." The first one, and then when I played it, I thought it was excellent. I enjoyed it. It's got that superhero thing, and it's got a story that's cool enough. It's got a bit of a mythos to it, which I liked, and I played that game for hours and hours and hours, and I could recognize that these characters are a bit shit. The story is actually a bit subpar. It's not as good as the comics I read, but still, it was enough of it was good for me to really enjoy it as an overall experience. And I think it might.
So you're looking forward in that aspect because you really like it though. Like, whereas like
Well, exactly. This is exactly the problem. Is they've sold their console on this game is coming out.
Yeah.
Like this is their big post
Yeah, I don't
launch
get that.
release. If this is a game that's targeting a very specific set of people, then they've kind of fucked it.
I think they're targeting a broad range of people, but the people that will really, really love it are quite specific.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have a certain personality type and an interest set to really, really enjoy it. And I think I'm one of those people. Like, you could release the shittest kind of superhero game, and I'll find something to like about it.
I mean,
With-
don't get me
with
wrong.
me,
I did feel like a superhero when I was playing it. Like, I mean, I know,
but not as much as I did when I played Tempest.
But you take that small thing, because that's not something that you kind of cover or you really enjoy it on a day-to-day basis, and you give that to me, and it amplifies like 200%. It's like
that's
I
exactly
would
right,
love it.
and I think that's why I don't want to criticize it just yet, because it's a bad demo of what probably is a good game, but also not quite for me anyway.
I've never reluctantly done 100% of a game as much as I have with fucking the first Infamous. I bought it when I was like first moved to London. I was so poor, and I was like, but I seen this game and I was like, I don't care.
40 quid?
I was on like 300 quid a month at that point, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm buying this game. Bought it, and after a couple of hours, just like, it's cool and it looks awesome, and I was like glad I had it, but at the same time, I was like, it's just a lot of repetition. I thought, and like. But I 100%ed it because there was no way I was affording another game for another like.
See, I found I really enjoyed stuff like the way he moved around, and I thought
Yeah,
that was
that's
really
awesome.
cool, and collecting the little shards and stuff like that.
I collected every
love
fucking
that.
single one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Same, and I just thought it was awesome. Like,
It has some really cool touchpad functionality.
Really?
This new, fantastic.
know if it's
So,
cool
this
is
is
the
brilliant.
word.
You're gonna love this.
What does it do?
So,
Map?
there's people in the city who are like
Click in, you go to the map.
caged up, right? Some people caged in the city. So you've got to run up to the cages and free them, right? And to do it, you go up to the door and it will say swipe left to open the door. You swipe left and you open the door.
No, I'm bored with that.
Amazing. Isn't that's so genius though? Because you couldn't do that with buttons. So they really have been very clever.
You do it with Connect. Yeah, you can. Probably a lot easier as well.
Xbox.
But
Open door.
the best thing I've seen of touchpad is Assassin's Creed 4. Like the map.
Yeah,
on
that's
Assassin's
just the
Creed 4
standard map stuff.
fucking
just
brilliant.
Like zoom
Like,
in and zoom out.
Yeah, zoom in, zoom out, touch and shit like that. Like just like touch the lock.
See
That's what I want.
if Nintendo were going to sue anyone,
Yeah. But I mean, overall, you know, you.
so you know how we
yeah.
said we had really exciting games and good stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolf
It's
and
been a real downer.
We kicked Scullion out this week for you to come on and especially talk about these special games. You come on and be like, "Yo, it's alright."
Scullion would have come in here and been like, "Dr. Mario's incredible."
Well, I mean, there is a game that I have seen that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, which looks really good.
Sweet, awesome.
Exciting.
Thanks for
very
that.
So that's-
exciting.
It begins with T and ends with Emptus.
No, actually, no, because I can talk about that and I will.
All right,
Yeah, so I've been playing Titanfall. I played a few hours of Titanfall.
Okay, cool.
That game
That's
is
a big one, right?
That
Like-
is pretty big
I'm
for
in.
Xbox One. Are you in already? I don't have to explain further.
I've already talked to people about it.
Okay.
I wish it wasn't coming on Xbox 360. I wish it was Xbox One.
Only
Yeah.
because that
But it's
gives you
been
an
delayed for
excuse to
360.
hold it.
it won't be
It's
a
coming
good.
out, though,
I mean,
isn't
the
it?
360 version won't be the definitive version. I
Okay.
think.
In what sense, though?
Well, like
Are they
it'll be
going
a
to take
different.
pictures out?
What we've learned just
Yeah.
now is
Bigger
Joe is
time.
buying it on 360.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Well,
thing.
the-
I don't own an Xbox One, and you know that kind of works for me. As long as like
Yeah.
I might buy an Xbox One if they've stripped loads out and it's like a bare bones version of Titanfall
Yeah.
on 360. Then I might go if this game is good enough. I could invest.
Who's the developer of the 360? Blue Point. Is it
Blue Point are good. They are.
and
good.
they are awesome.
They've
at
done
porting
Shadow of the
stuff.
Colossus. They've done a
But it's not.
bunch of.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not going to be like a stripped down version, like unplayable. It's not going to be like
No.
you know the Flappy Bird
No.
version or anything like that.
But I mean,
the Flappy Bird engine.
Like the way, when you say like stripped down, I was thinking
Oh
like.
man, 2D pixel art Titanfall would be pretty sweet.
do you remember the?
Have you played the Knack game on phones?
Oh my
That's
God.
what I was thinking when you think about it stripped down. It's fucking horrible. It's like this like match.
You know what else is
puzzle
horrible?
thing, yeah.
The main neck game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hip hop
Yeah.
gamer's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
If you're a gamer,
Bias.
be a gamer.
Let's not call him out. Let's not call him
Yeah,
out.
let's not. He's
Shots fired!
It's too late.
Yeah, I played. Do you know what? Based on what I've played of Titanfall, I wouldn't be surprised if that port of it is actually surprisingly serviceable.
Tell
like
me
it
why.
could, because what I'm seeing of it isn't massively like beyond the scope of current gen consoles. I think they could easily pull
Right,
that
fair
game off. It's
Is
there's-
that not sort of next gen as a whole currently?
currently?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
People
I
are
mean,
shitting themselves, I think. But then so many of these consoles have been bought for these games. So I don't know. I quite like the idea that Valve's just gone, fuck it. It's next gen
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
Like,
I think the people that buy Titanfall on Xbox One will not complain about anything because it works. There's just enough of it going on. There's a lot of stuff going on that it feels next gen-y. But if you step back and look at the visuals piece by piece, kind of look at the visuals, look how the AI is behaving, the
Yeah.
kind of character models, the overall aesthetic, you realize it's not really pushing that hard. I
No,
bet
no.
you they could pull that off quite
Yeah.
easily.
I don't think anyone has praised this game for the graphics. It's just it plays so amazingly well.
And that
that's
was
the
one of my main criticisms of the game while I was playing it. Firstly, I'll just say out of the gate, I think I loved playing it. The last time I felt like
it's
I
so much
couldn't.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't
Has
tear.
everyone played it except me?
Yeah.
God damn.
when the first beta came out for Modern Warfare, I wanted nothing more than just to sit there all day and
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
it. And when I was away from it, I was just yearning to get back. And I
Thinking
had
about
the
it, yeah.
same thing with this. It's just so fun. The feedback loop is so fun. But in terms of like what I didn't like about it, the character design, the kind of like the art style, the visual style is just so generic. It's just so grey and bland.
I think that's their moneymaker though, because they've gone for something quite unique. I would say quite unique in a first-person military shooter sort of genre, which is what they're going for.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be unique, they have to give those COD idiots a sense of familiarity.
Damn.
Well, you know, I mean, like 40 million of them.
In fairness, though,
Some of them are stupid.
You look at how it had its other problems, but you look at Brink that tried to do a similar type of combat, a lot of it, but it went for the different visual style and it died on its arse.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the visual style for Brink was the least part of it responsible for that.
Oh, but in terms of aesthetics,
I thought it was a really nice looking game.
but
Yeah.
no, but what I'm saying is people didn't look at that game and go, I understand what this game is, because it looks completely different
The
to
thing
every
is, like,
first-person
you can,
shooter out
like,
there.
from my perspective, you do that on a couple of maps. You know, those are the maps that you put front and center. You do that with certain Titans, and you say, this is the grey ass Titan, this is the grey ass map. But the problem is, I've played two or three maps, sorry, and they all look exactly the same. Like, there were points where we were standing in a group and trying to remember the distinguishing features of each map. And we were struggling. We were like, we cannot remember what.
That's worrying.
What
Yeah,
it
that is a
is.
problem.
Can I just say, because we've done 3 negative news pieces and 2 pretty middling previews, let's be positive about Titanfall.
Positive. It feels amazing to play. Obviously, they didn't step too far out there with us. This is the Call of Duty studio. They made it so it feels like Call of Duty. Like,
Who did you prefer playing as, the Titans or the humans?
There's a perfect synergy between them. Like,
Well,
that's what I love
I was
about
going to
it.
ask. How different is playing as the two types?
It's quite different in terms of, like, when you're playing a foot soldier. Firstly, so you start off the match and it feels again like a lot of games. There's a Dota element to it, where firstly the people who are worrying about 6 versus 6 or 8 versus 8, do not be worried, because it was one of the most hectic experiences.
Yeah.
Well, because it's got bot type
that's
creeps,
the thing. The
hasn't
bots,
it? Yeah.
the creeps are in there. The bots are in there. They will put up a fight. They will kill you if you treat them like mugs. Like, one guy, I came around the corner and I thought, I'll take care of the pilot before I take care of him, and he just booted me in my back and shot me straight before I had any chance to take on the other pilot.
Don't mug off the bots.
Don't mug off the bots.
Step one.
But what you do is you come into the map, and there's a time limit on your Titan. So straight away it says your Titan will be ready in 60 seconds. If you start, the more you engage in combat, the quicker your Titan will get there.
That's
so
cool.
you start taking out the bots, and it will reduce the time until you're like Titan ready in 55 seconds, and it will keep counting down. If you take down a pilot, it takes off a larger increment of time. And so if you keep going after pilots, it's harder for you to get that,
I'm
get
just
the kills
thinking you
because
play
they're
this
humans.
game way better than I did. Just running around like Point Break.
So I was trying to target, like, when I started off, I was trying to target the pilots, because they're the easiest to kill, and they're the most fun to kill. They're the hardest to kill because they're humans. So I wanted to do that, but eventually I realized it's quicker for me to just grab, just gun down all these goons and then just have my Titan ready. So you do that, and then the thing with the soldiers is the freedom of movement. It takes
The sense of freedom.
it takes a little getting used to, because it's kind of weird. Like, you just run towards the surface, jump at it. It's kind of mirrors edgy, and they'll start running across it and then do a jump. But sometimes
It feels amazing. I loved that.
Yeah,
so
it feels so
much.
good. But when you start off with, this is the element to learning the map. You start off with you think you can do things, like, you're like, I reckon I can take that jump, or I reckon I can clamber up that wall. And sometimes it's like, no, you can't do that. You need to learn the map. And then you look around, and you're like, oh, there's a crate nearby. I need to use that to get onto it and then do it. So there's an element of getting used to the map, which is cool. What I like about it is, it's different about it is, with Call of Duty, you learn, this is where I hide from bullets. This is where I hide from, I go around this area, and this is where the actual, the gunfight's going to happen. With this one, there's that element to it, and there's also a verticality to it. So you know that, if I need to hide from the enemies, I need to hide here. Problem is, if it's a Titan, I need to get to this point quickly and then jump up onto the roof and hide over here. This is the only place I'm safe from a Titan.
Okay.
So you've got to kind of learn. It's a lot more to learning the map, which is really cool. But in terms of the movement, it's like going from one side of the map to the other is so fluid. Like, it felt so good.
Yeah, I mean, you can go across the entire map without touching the floor.
Yeah,
On some certain
maps.
maps, yeah.
But what I loved was, like, knowing there's an enemy in the building, and just looking through the window and just going, I'm just gonna jump through that window.
Yeah,
and you just run and you just leap through the window.
That sounds great.
It's so good. And then you just, like, you do a melee kill and then just jump out the other side of the window and you'll carry on going.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And the other thing that's awesome about it is they've got the narrator. And it's such a small thing, but when you're playing it, it's like, if you play a lot of it, it's so valuable, where he's constantly telling you about stuff that's happening around the battlefield. So with the Call of Duty one, it's like care package online, care package available, stuff like that. This guy will be like, you're approaching a building where your hard point is. Be warned, there are enemies nearby.
Oh wow!
And then you
That's
go
pretty
inside, and then you're like, you're shooting. And he goes, hold this down, and you hold it down, and then it'll be like, I'm hacking it now. And then you hack the thing, you take the hard point, and it'll tell you, like, hard point recovered. careful, there are enemies nearby, or it'll say like no enemies nearby, you're free to go, and you can do it, or it'll tell you like Titan
Amazing.
approaching, that kind of thing.
When you said narrator, I thought you meant like the dude from Bastion.
No,
Be
no,
like,
no,
he
no.
killed him brutally.
Hey, Tibor, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, and then when you call the Titan in, it's cool as hell, like so
Oh
cool.
man,
You
that
press
plume
it.
of smoke that
Yeah,
surrounds it as it.
Even from the very beginning where it
Yeah.
just says Titanfall online or Titanfall available or something like that, it's just so cool. You hit it and you just look up and you just see him just come down. It's like the Terminator
from heaven, essentially.
Yeah, it's just, and you know the scene in Metal Gear 2 where he jumps onto the tanker and then lands,
yeah.
and then his thing shorts, and then all the electricity comes up. It's that, and you can like the way you get onto it is awesome. Like you walk up to it and he'll pick you up. If you're on a roof, you can jump towards him, and he'll scoop you out of the air and then put you into his thing. The other stuff that like really useful is you can let him just get controlled by AI. Just
Yeah, you
do
can turn him
as you
into
please.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so what
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
do
wow.
is you can set him to defend mode or follow mode. In follow mode, he would just kind of like
He's like
try
the
and
coolest dog.
yeah, exactly. he'll try and make your way to his way to where you are and engage enemies on nearby on the way.
That's awesome.
And in defend mode, he'll just set up shop and attack. So if you're playing a game mode like Hardpoint where you need to take over a certain area, what I was doing was I would come in, identify the obvious entrance point for enemies. Usually it's like this massive hole in the wall, and set him right in front of it, so he was essentially blocking it. And then anytime an enemy would come up, he would gun down the enemy, and if there was a Titan coming, he would like, you could see that he's kind of readjusting his position to fight a Titan. And I knew like usually when he's fighting a Titan, he's not going to be able to take it out on his own because it's a human controlled Titan. So I'd run over and get into him and fight the Titan. And when you're fighting as a Titan, it's quite a lot more strategic. It's like you can't just do Call of Duty style run and gun, because they've got different weapons that are probably better than yours, and they can do stuff like use a shield to gather your bullets that you're firing and firing back at you and stuff like that. But that's funny because you do that move and then you just see people just throwing bullets back and forth, because you can just, if you see someone doing that, you're just like, well, I'm just going to fire loads of bullets at you, and then he gathers them up and you go, oh, I'm just going to use mine now. So he fires them front, you just throw them back.
That sounds
That's
like a
it.
really cool little mini sports
Yeah,
game.
mini
awesome.
sports game.
The simplistic way I'm thinking about it is it's sort of Foot Soldier, it's Call of Duty with a twist, and then a Titan, it's a bit more Halo, like long, slow, more strategic.
It's very
fights.
much like that. You've got like a dash move, but you can only use it. You've got 2 bars, so you use it and it depletes 1 bar,
Right.
and it'll deplete the other
But you
one.
can dash in any direction, right? Someone was
Back,
talking
forth,
about that.
laterally. Yeah,
That sounds
so
really
I
laterally.
still felt like playing as the Titans is a little bit clumsy here and there, especially considering how much fluidity there is to the.
That's what I liked
Foot
about it.
Is
It's
that not
such
the
a
point?
different,
Yeah.
different,
Yeah, that is-
different feel from it, and there is an element of learning your roots as a Titan.
Yeah.
And how they differ from
Yeah.
when you're a soldier, and how you can kind of match them together.
But it's an awesome
So, like,
sense of power when you're.
It
a
is,
Titan
it
as
is,
well.
and like using your dashes to stay out of the way, and using your special weapons and stuff like that. There's an actual strategy to it. You don't want to. The only time I felt like the game feels perfectly balanced, and the only time I ever felt like, oh man, this is problem is when you're fighting 2 Titans against 1. But usually that doesn't really.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of a
Yeah.
special circumstance.
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it?
And when you're fighting as a human, you don't feel like the Titan can just wipe the floor with you
Yeah.
at all. You feel powerful enough. Like there's one move where if you manage to get high enough and jump at the upper third of a Titan, he will just mount it, and then he'll kind of rip open the cockpit, and then you can just fire bullets
Yeah.
directly into the.
So when you're a
the pilot.
Titan and you're being attacked, it's your cockpit that starts flashing, and eventually it says you have to do an emergency evac. So you do an emergency evac and you fly up like about 50 feet in the
Yeah.
air, probably.
It launches you right into
It
the
launches
sky.
the foot soldier right up into the air. And if you're good enough, when you're in the air, you can find the Titan that shot you down, land straight on him and take him out, and you feel like a superhero.
Yeah,
sounds
the best.
incredible.
Everyone's got an
Yeah.
anti-Titan weapon, and what I used to do was just choose to get eject. You can stop it from ejecting you like super far. You can have it eject you
Nice.
just and just like fire an anti-Titan missile straight back at the person that hit me. But yeah, because you can set like you got stuff like perks where you can set your Titan to go nuclear when it explodes, Just wipe
That's
out
awesome.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Titanfall.
Well, you brought it
a lot
around.
of Titanfall.
I suddenly feel positive.
But yeah, that game's awesome. I think people are gonna have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it is good
But
fun.
yeah. So the final part of this podcast is we put a question out on Twitter, Facebook, and the internets to see what people thought is interesting. Gav came up with it. Well done, Gav.
So Flappy Bird is no more, is gone. So we thought
right.
if you could get rid of any one game in the history of games, what would you get rid of? Now, the thing I think is interesting about this is obviously people like people have gone for like alien colonial marines, want to wipe that game. It's like, but what like I think is interesting, and we did like an OXM breakdown sort of about this, like way back when, where you talk about like if you got rid of a game, what kind of knock-on effect that would have.
I was going to say it's like Back to the Future.
Exactly. Yeah. So like because we were talking about like getting rid of like what the video that we did was why you shouldn't kill Hitler, because it was like, well,
that's a good video.
if you killed Hitler, the knock-on effect that would have in games. Actually, like you wouldn't have anything, because like you wouldn't have had Indiana Jones, which means you wouldn't have had Tomb Raider, which would like and like huge knock-on effects like that.
So one of the Twitter responses we got was from Ben Latimore, who goes by Blue Maxima, and says, Super Mario Brothers, I'd just love to see history if Nintendo didn't pull the world out of the second video game crash.
Fuck you. That's my livelihood. That guy wants to.
I think he's more of like an academic interest. I wonder what happened. But
Well, first of all, what would you get rid of?
I don't know. I'm quite
Either because you want to watch the world burn, or just because you hate it.
I think I could do quite a lot of damage, but not actually impact video games, which I love, in a massive way by just making Football Manager disappear.
What the fuck, man?
That's what I'm talking about. See, only the football people will be like, oh, meanwhile, I'll be like, fuck you guys with your stupid spreadsheet simulator.
But Football Manager has not
that doesn't
affected
affect you.
I know it doesn't. That's why I like it.
So you're just
I'm
picking
okay.
on a
The rest
group.
of the game, the rest of the game's
That's
ordered
fucked up,
fine.
man.
I've just burned this one genre that I hate.
I get you, but you're an asshole.
Then my job here is done.
What would you get rid of, Joe?
Tetris.
Fucking hell! What is
Similar reasoning. Basically, I just hate the fact that any puzzle game that ever comes out gets compared to Tetris. Everyone knows Tetris
that's
is
a great
good.
answer, yeah.
Shut up. Like, who cares?
What would you get rid of?
Great.
Tempest.
You wouldn't get rid of Tetris.
To solve my addiction.
What would you get rid of?
I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest.
That's it?
So yeah, that's my answer. I'll say Fahrenheit.
Let's just throw some games out there then, and then see if we can figure out the scenario that.
So what if
happens after.
let's pick a game. Let's pick a game that someone said. And
So the Twitter ones were mostly shit. But,
there's some good ones on Facebook.
Josh Cowper Smith says Call of Duty, because there are so many amazing games overshadowed by the giant franchise which barely changes from game to game. That's an
Call of Duty
interesting
games
thing.
are really awesome though.
They are good, but his point is that they are even more awesome games that are being overshadowed by it. Stuff like Metro, which I think is an amazing game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like it's hiding. It's hidden by Call of Duty. But yeah, I think that's a good one. A lot of people saying Call of Duty. So much Call of Duty.
People just like to hate on
Which Call of Duty, though? They want to get rid of the first one, because that was like just kind of not a great World War II game.
Yeah.
Did that spawn everything else?
I think they
'Cause
mean Modern
someone
Warfare.
would have made
Yeah.
a Twitch shooter like Modern Warfare in
Yeah.
the end if that was gone.
I don't know. Matt Jones says Resident Evil 4. There are
What?
many reasons why I would want to erase such a wonderful, incredible game, but the obvious one, every third-person shooter has copied it, and it contributed to the death of survival horror.
Did not contribute to the death of survival horror. That's bollocks.
That is weird.
Survival horror was always a flawed genre.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm surprised it lasted for as long as it did.
I see his point, but the amount of like really incredible games that have come out of the fact that Resident Evil 4 spawned them.
Yeah.
Like, you think about,
Dead
things I
Space.
love, like, Dead Space.
man.
And that
Dead
was
Space
that
wouldn't
pushed it back
exist, yeah.
towards
Yeah.
survival horror.
Yeah.
And you get things like, things I love, like Binary Domain. Like,
Yeah.
Binary
Oh,
Domain is
yeah, what a
just
brilliant
such a
game.
beautiful distillation of that style.
Yeah.
And
Gears,
lose
you wouldn't
that,
have Gears.
Wouldn't have Gears.
That sucks, man. And plus, Resident Evil 4, I think I've said it before, is my favorite game.
Yeah.
I see his point.
Yeah.
But again, arsehole.
Godwin Edward Magnum something or another. He can get fucked because he says Street Fighter 4. The art sucks. The music sucks. I miss the style of 2D fighters. The art does not suck.
no, this
for
man
Street
doesn't know
Fighter
what he's
4.
talking
The
about,
music does
like-
not suck in Street Fighter 4, and there are many,
Music is
many,
awesome.
many.
Art
And also,
awesome.
2D
the
fighters.
beauty of that game is it plays like a 2D fighter.
Exactly, and there's
Yeah.
like hundreds of other 2D fighters out there right now.
What
You're
is
not
wrong with this guy?
starved.
Do you actually think it looks nicer than Street Fighter 2?
I think it looks nice. I think it looks. I don't think
You don't.
Not as good.
I think
I prefer that old
I don't
style.
know.
a realistic
I think
art
it's a
style
really
wouldn't
nice
work.
evolution of that. I think it like
Oh no, they did
side
a
by
really
side.
good job,
There's
I'm
a
not
lot
saying.
of like comparisons that you can make.
Definitely.
between
I'm just saying I think that original style does look better. At least on art style, I kind
Yeah.
of get what you're saying.
I know what I would get rid of.
What is
I
it?
just really like Shenmue.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
great
that
one.
is a great one.
Because, like, I genuinely think, like, more people... I think people... It's one of those games that people now just hold in absolute high regard. And I honestly believe that if you lie detector test some of the people who go on about it, like, all the time on the internet, that they've never played it. Like people go on about it as if it's some, like, you know, they hold it on this ridiculous pedestal. And, like, yeah, it was awesome, but I think people are remembering it with slightly rose-tinted glasses.
It's like people who say they were at the Free Trade Hall for the first Sex Pistols gig when there were like 30 people there. It's impossible that many people.
Exactly, yeah. That's the thing. And, like, it's a shame that Scullin's not on this podcast, because we were talking about this the other day, and he was like, people forget, like, you know, last year, like, Jet Set Radio feature came out. Before that, people were hailing that, like, you know, and it's an amazing
And then no one
game.
played it when
and
it came out.
No one played it when it got released last year. Like,
Yeah.
and that was a really, really good HD remake as well. But I think, like, I honestly think, like, when you look at some of these kids, like going crazy about Shenmue on, like, forums and stuff like that all the time, you just think there's no way you were old enough to be able to have played it. Like,
I was, and even I didn't finish that game. And the bit of it that I played, I thought this is a bit boring.
The thing
Yeah.
with Shenmue, right, is I wonder how many games have been influenced by those like forklift sections. How many really boring games have come about because people were like, Shenmue, I really like, and they were like, oh, we can put boring shit in our games.
yeah, in fairness, like all those like Euro truck simulators and stuff, just because it would stop all those like ironic videos of it on the YouTube going, oh, look at me, I'm so crazy, I'm doing a farming simulator. Fuck off. Like, I don't want to see any more of those videos anymore.
Was that a fake the other day when someone put up that there was a goat simulator coming out?
That looked legit, but it looked also hilarious because it was just like that goat was fucking everything up, ruining that. The physics model just bending to his will. Someone says for all Facebook games.
Nah. No, because I think Facebook games have opened up like people to gaming in a way. Like, like my auntie plays games now all the time, and now, you know, has started saying to me, "Oh, like, what other games should I be playing when I take the piss out of her playing Candy Crush?" Okay, well,
Silent
what game
Hill.
should I play?
Yeah.
And now she's
Radiant
afraid to leave the house.
Silver.
That's fine, yeah.
Anthony Echo says World of Warcraft.
Oh,
Why?
you know, I'm
what's the beef with that?
I'm kind of down.
Kind
with
of like
that.
most of the publishing industry would agree with that, because obviously
They would have made more money.
yeah, because they would have made loads, because like 30 million people per month play only one game.
Yeah.
I do think it has a lot to answer for in its approach, in its kind of business model. Like, it started a lot of negative shit, you know, like, but quite
The
aside from
subscription
gold
thing.
farming and that kind of thing, not subscription, there was that before, but, you know, you look at how you level up and the grind of that game.
Yeah.
So many free-to-play models. Not that
I played-
should call
I
all
played-
things free-to-play.
I played Warcraft
have come out
extensively, and I could not stand most of it because it's like I don't care about the text. It was a natural limit that on me playing that game was like about an hour and a half, because eventually it was just you're doing the same shit over and over
Yeah.
again.
Also, I really like the Warcraft RTS games, and it kind of overshadowed all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So-
definitely, yeah.
Andy Wintrip says Heavy Rain and or Fahrenheit on the
Why?
grounds of being interactive movies and being terrible at the same time.
Well, they're tremendously bad. They're
They are. I agree
terrible.
with that.
So.
I like
didn't have-
Fahrenheit.
I've never played Fahrenheit. It looks
Yeah.
like
The
kind
first
of thing
hour
I'd
of
enjoy.
Fahrenheit is excellent.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. When it
Superb.
starts going Matrix
After
style,
that,
then
it
it's
is a
fucked.
fucking
Yeah.
train wreck
I
of work.
really don't mind Heavy Rain. I know it's badly written,
Yeah.
but it does what it does all the way down the line
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
going, I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I'm
It's
a bit
more
harsh on
The thing
Heavy
that-
Rain,
David
'cause-
Cage's rhetoric that's the problem. It's
Yeah,
not the
that's
game
right, yeah.
itself.
Definitely, yeah.
Like,
The thing that I liked about Fahrenheit is I remember playing it like, so what would it be, like 2003, 2004, something like that.
Yeah, about
And
that.
like there was a couple of guys who lived in my house like who were just like begging me to play the game. They were just like, "Will you play that game so we can watch?" I was like, "Oh, you can play it if you want." They're like, "No, man, we just want to watch you
Yeah.
play it."
Yeah.
Like, because so much weird stuff happened. Like when you didn't, and it was like it sort of broke. You had to break yourself to be able to play, because you had to break the way that you thought about. Okay, well, how do I do this?
You have
game?
to give
Like,
it a lot of allowance.
how do I clean up this crime scene?
Yeah,
I remember like when I realized it was awesome was the bit where it asked you to when you're playing, you realize you're playing as the cop trying to catch the dude, and you're asking someone who's seen the guy at the diner. Like you're describing him to the cop, to the guy's artist, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck this up. So like my dude had like dreadlocks, and huge lips, and looked nothing like it. Then I failed, and it said fail, and I was like, what the fuck? How did I fail that? And I realized what I was meant to be doing, and I was like, oh, you need to do really well. You need to not be throwing this guy off. And
See,
I like the idea of those two narratives happening side by side, and I don't know. It really struck a chord with me.
See,
also,
for all its interesting ideas, I played Fahrenheit to the end, and I died trying to open a window.
Yep, that's what killed me. Fucking haunted furniture killed me, and I could not get it to work. It's like a QuickTime event where all these chairs are coming at you and shit like that. It's
Yeah.
coming at
Oh,
you
yeah.
from
No,
the window.
I died
And
because-
I was playing on PC and it's like press F. I pressed F, nothing happened. Second time I was pressing F, nothing happened. By
Yeah.
the end, I was pounding the keyboard and nothing was happening.
But
It
in the
would
game, you
not
had this
have any of it.
motivation bar that depleted if things
I
fucked
love
up for
that,
you.
yeah.
And I was at the end of my tether essentially, and like he had nothing left, right?
Yeah.
So he was borderlining on suicide. He
Yeah.
tried to open a window. The window was locked, so he decided to kill himself.
Yeah.
Quite
And I was like,
beautiful.
that is poetic.
That sounds like a Werner Herzog movie.
But like, I played it before, like there wasn't much on. Like I remember I wasn't really on like that many forums and stuff like that reading about it. And I remember just like the series of events where I tried playing the guitar for my ex-girlfriend, fucked that up. She left. Then it was just then he goes over, starts drinking, and then something else happens, and he just gets so low, and he's just like, I'm gonna kill myself. And I was playing it, but then I sort of felt like I was like, stop messing up with this game. You're gonna kill this dude. And then when he died, I just remember feeling so distraught, but then feeling amazing when you actually fix it. Then you
Yeah.
play the guitar,
I think-
nail it, don't have to drink. You offer her a drink, she drinks, then you get into bed.
But if we got rid of Fahrenheit, we would get rid of Heavy Rain and
Beyond.
Beyond.
Oh, getting
and
beyond is bullshit.
See,
And that whole
if we're
lineage.
going to take the time travel thing, are we going to have any of the Telltale games if you get rid of those? Like when did the
No,
first?
but the Telltale
draft of
games were
Telltale-
pre that.
Which ones?
As in, I think the Telltale lineage.
You mean the
comes
Walking
from,
Dead shit?
Come from the classic, Kim
Sam and
Schafer
Max,
stuff.
yeah.
Sam and
Oh
Max.
yeah, no, it comes out that clearly, but
Yeah.
then
I think we
surely-
can safely get rid of David Cage shit and nothing will happen to the genre. Like
Well,
people
that
will
is
be like,
damning.
people will be like, "Wow, this is cleaned up. This place looks nice."
Wow.
The first
wonder.
hour of Fahrenheit, though, genuinely,
Yeah, it's great.
is absolutely
Shows that he actually has
perfect.
there is an
there is-
idea.
yeah, there
that could
is
really
some
work.
good stuff there.
Definitely, yeah.
Like it's just the rest of it shit. It's amazing. You're in a toilet. You just wait.
Wow. Wow.
You're in a toilet.
games take you to amazing places.
Toilets. In the toilet, it doesn't give you any context. You just wake up. There's a dead body on the floor, and there's a mop, and it does a
He plays
split
George
screen.
Michael.
There's a split screen where they show the outside of the restaurant,
It's so
and,
stressful.
and the cop has just come in.
yeah.
Barrymore
he's-
Simulator.
The cop has just come in, and he's doing all this natural
Well, if
stuff.
we're going to be
which-
libelous, let's go the whole way.
So he's basically just like ordering stuff, and he's slowly making his way to. And you've got to clean this shit up and get the hell out of there
Yeah.
before
That
he
sounds
gets to. And it is play that first hour. If you can buy it for like £2-3, play that first hour, never play the rest of it again.
Oh.
That will change your opinion on David Cage. If you just imagine David Cage, that's the
I-
only thing he's ever produced. He's,
As much
he's a
as we're
genius.
hating on David Cage, he might have a chance to prove us all wrong with a
With PlayStation
beautiful game that works in the way that you just
Whatever
described.
happened to his stupid that face simulator thing?
They
that
never
he
said
made?
that was anything, though. They
Remember?
just said that was
That was just
like
the
a thing, yeah,
that was just the
technically.
face of the new character in his next game.
Yeah. Man, that, like, with the sorcerer thing.
No,
That-
no. I'm talking about the robot lady.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They
right.
canned that, didn't they? That was just a tech thing.
Oh right.
Probably not just a tech thing.
No one puts
I'm
that
just-
much
I'm just-
effort. David Cage doesn't put that
Man,
much in.
that
effort into it.
that sorcerer's face thing, like that was like
Yeah,
a proper
that
like
was crazy.
Emperor's New Clothes thing at like last year at E3. Like I remember watching it, going, yeah, it looks amazing. But then they had these like outtakes, and they were like, oh man, it's so funny. Like someone's finally writing comedy, and I was just looking at people going, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about? That was not funny in the slightest.
Yeah.
And I was walking around and like you'd meet people and like there's always like a story at E3 where people are always mentioning one thing. Like well, at the moment it's always Oculus, but like this, like a couple of people I talked to, like American people mostly, were like, "Oh man, you seen that sorcerer demo? Like, so funny! Like,
Yeah.
God, we got comedy." And I was like, "That's
Yeah.
not
Have
funny."
you ever seen Stuart Lee live? That's funny.
bar for
It's not
quality
funny.
in is just so low
Yeah,
at times.
Yeah.
And then like
Just based
all
on
due respect
stereotypes
to
as well.
my friends in America, but man, they get impressed with shit really easily. It's like, wow, it's amazing, man. No, it's pretty average. Seen that shit for years. Not really that interesting.
But that's pretty good. I think we answered the thing.
We
Basically,
have
shoot
yeah,
David Cage in the head and we're fine.
Yeah, that was the most negative podcast we've done in a long
Yeah.
time. I love it. I love it. I
Let's
thrive
wrap
off
our shit up
that.
some more.
Right, thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave a review and rate us. 5 stars only. 4 stars, and you want to email us directly. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter at CVG_news. Joe is 2+2 is Joe.
Correct.
Gav is Cymrogav, CYMROGAV.
Yeah.
And Rob is Rob_Crossley_.
That's right, 2 underscores.
Nailed it. And you can find us on our website at computerandvideogames.com. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.